where they're a big problem and they're sort of poised to move on to why. This is funny because my previous job before I came to North Carolina was working with invasive species.
Oh, yeah.
I've spent a lot of time thinking about this.
She used to work with it. You don't hear these only here at the NRC. That's funny because I used to work with invasive species. That's why that's funny. Right. So you're the director of public science at NC State.
For the Your Wildlife program, which is a citizen science program based in the Department of Biology, and we are really interested in the biodiversity living on us, in us, and around us. From tiny little microbes all the way up big ants or camel crickets.
What is public science?
So it's engaging the public, you all, citizens, in helping us and in doing scientific research. We want you to be involved in the whole process, developing hypotheses, contributing your observations, collecting data, helping us analyze the data. We want to make science very transparent and open process, and we want you all to be involved. I think
you're not just trying to get them to do your work for you.
No, we want to work together. We're a team. We're crowdsourcing our science in a way. Is how we like to think about it. And how many of you have heard of citizen science? What kind of examples? What have you participated in citizen science before?
Yes.
Like what?
Valley button.
Yes, you did.
So that was with the Your Wildlife project. Also, I regret not having that done to me at the Science Online conference last year. The belly button diversity, belly button flora.
We were interested in the microbes that live in your belly button. And so we sampled about 200 people over the course of about a year. And we let them actually do their own sampling because we didn't want to get that up close and personal with their belly buttons.
Right.
And then,
why were you interested in what bacteria are in my belly button?
I think we wanted people to appreciate the fact that there's biodiversity that is on you're one and a part of sort of the microbes that live on you. And I think the belly button is kind of a funny place. It's a place that people always wonder why. We're like, okay, it's a novel place. And nobody had really studied it before. So we found in the 200 samples, we found over 4,000 different types of microbes. And that there were only a couple species and strains of microbes that were fairly common among a lot of people, but there was not a single type of microbe that was found on every single person.
Really?
So there's huge amount of variation. So we're trying to uncover and understand now why do people vary? Why do you and I probably have really different belly button microbes? Do we use the same kind of soap or not? Do we have certain kind of chemicals in our skin that may affect that? We're trying to tease that apart now. And in fact, we're sort of moving on as well to armpits.
Right, so I did this year at Science Online, I did have my armpit swabbed. And so that was, you actually looked at two different parts of the armpit. In one armpit, you had, all right. That was just our way of signaling DC. So in one armpit, you kind of got right deep into the deepest part of the armpit, and in the other one, just a little outer area. Why?
This is our first pass. Oftentimes when you do science, you have to do a preliminary type of experiment just to check your method, see how things are working. And so we had a small set that we were really interested in seeing. We've been trying to get a better handle, we were hoping to have those results analyzed by the time of the opening, but we got a little bit of trouble. So we actually identify the microbes based on their DNA. So we actually look at their genetic code as how we figure out who's there. And we ran into trouble with the sequencer.
Really? So, I mean, are the bacteria in my armpit that different from the ones in my belly button? And are they that different from the ones on my eyebrow?
They may be. I mean, I think the ones in your armpit are going to be more associated with your sweat glands. Which would be so there may be some differences there. Certainly there are going to be a group of bacteria that are always associated with skin. And in fact, we have another project where we're looking at microbes that are on common surfaces in your home.
Right.
Things like your kitchen counter, your pillowcase, the tops of your door sills, and we find particularly on the pillowcase, and we also have looked at toilet seats in the past, that you tend to find there's certain groups of bacteria that are always found associated with where humans are, particularly where human skin is. And so those are probably pretty common between here and there, but the specific type of species they are within that group may vary a lot.
Wasn't there something that Rob, so you work, the lab is, Rob Dunn is the head of the lab. Was there an article that he wrote that was about, that possibly the actual scent, when we smell someone's underarmpit, that's perhaps generated by the bacteria?
Yeah. So the bacteria are associated with
sweat specifically. It's not what's coming out of you, but
it's how the bacteria sort of eat the sweat.
generate that. Their waste is what we. So if you're attracted to someone else's smell, you're attracted to their
microbes.
Their microbes. So maybe you don't even need the other person. You just need a swab of their microbes to take home with you. That could be a side business of some sort.
Yeah.
But, there was something else. What's that project called? The one with around the house?
The Wildlife of Our Homes.
Wildlife of Our Homes.
Wildlife of Our Homes. And so all of these projects, you can go to our website. It's Your Wildlife. Think of it as 3 words. It's kind of a play on words. We typically think of wildlife as sort of the deer or the rabbits in your yard. And we want you to think about being sort of part of an ecological web and thinking about all the creatures, big and small, that you interact with. So Your Wildlife, and you can find out about .org, and you can find out about all of our projects.
Yeah. So, this is a little aside from, because you're trained as an entomologist,
I am.
right?
So
these little bugs aren't really.
It's hard for me. I can tell you rattle